One day, a rich man decided to take his son on a trip to the country. The wealthy man wanted to show his son how the poor people live so he could be thankful for his wealth. They spent 2 days on a farm of a very poor family. On their way home, the rich man asked his son, "How was our trip with this poor family, and what did you learn?" The son answered, "I saw that we have servants to serve us, but poor people serve others. We have one dog, and they have four. We have imported lanterns in our gardens, and poor people have stars at night. We buy our food, but poor people grow theirs. We have a big pool in our garden, but poor people have a creek that has no end. We have large walls to protect us, and poor people have friends to protect them." Finally, the son added, "Thanks, Dad, for showing me how poor we are." So kids, what we learned today is that the true wealth is not measured by money or possessions, but by love, gratitude, nature, and strong relationships.
When I was young, everything that went wrong in my house seemed to be my fault. Once, my brothers tried to make cookies. They blended flour and ginger and made a disgusting paste. Then they tried to wash it down the drain, but it got all over the floor. Later, my brothers said that I did it and I had to wipe it up. I worried that my parents liked them more than me. One autumn day, I was sure, would make my parents proud. I bought a model rocket. After I put it together, I invited everybody to watch it. I wanted my brothers to envy my technical knowledge. I lit the fuse, but nothing happened. "Looks like your fireworks don't work. I hope you kept the receipt so you can return them," my brother said. "It's not fireworks," I screamed. They were making fun of me again. I didn't know what went wrong. I hadn't altered anything. I quickly moved the wires on the bottom, hoping that would help. Suddenly, the rocket flew up. We stood aside. As it curved through the lawn and ran straight into the mailbox. Then the mailbox collapsed. The rocket was crushed. Embarrassed, I ran inside and hid. A few minutes later, my mom asked, "Are you okay?" "I just wanted them to be jealous of me for once. Now I see why you and Dad don't love me as much as them," I said. "That's not true," said my mom. "See my fingers? Each one is different. You kids are like my fingers. All are different, but I love them all the same." I embraced her. Now I know that my parents love me just as much as my brothers. Moral of the story: everyone is unique in their own way, and true love values each person equally, no matter how different they are. Arthur was a responsible farmer, and Maria was a nice lady. But they were poor. They owed the town lord money for their land. One summer, their farm burned. One structure caught fire, and most of the animals ran away. Only the cats stayed. So Arthur and Maria had to bring in their crops without any animals' help. On a fall day, the Lord demanded his money. Arthur asked if the Lord could wait until he brought in his crops. The Lord was angry. He raised his hands high and yelled, "Pay me by the end of the week. If you don't, I will increase the money you have to pay. I might put you in a jail cell." So Arthur and Maria worked until there was blood on their hands. They finished 4 lines of corn and went to bed. But the next morning, 8 lines were finished. "Maria, didn't we stop in this spot here?" Arthur asked. "Yes, that is correct. And the tools were in a different position too," Maria said. They were surprised and happy. That day, they worked hard and finished 5 lines. But in the morning, 10 lines were done. Each day, they did a lot of work. Each night, someone else did an equal amount of work. In a week, the whole field was finished. "Tomorrow I will sell the crops and pay the Lord," Arthur said. But that morning, the crops were gone. A bag was in the middle of the field. It contained money. "Maria, let's see who has helped us work." Through a hole in the wall, they saw a funny sight. The cats were dancing in the field and eating corn. Now Arthur knew what had happened. The cats had worked at night. After that, Arthur was very nice to his cats and fed them lots of corn. Moral of the story: kindness and loyalty are often rewarded in unexpected ways. Even the smallest helpers can make the biggest difference.
2 men were traveling in company through a forest, when, all at once, a huge bear crashed out of the brush near them. One of the men, thinking of his own safety, climbed a tree. The other, unable to fight the savage beast alone, threw himself on the ground and lay still, as if he were dead. He had heard that a bear will not touch a dead body. It must have been true, for the bear snuffed at the man's head a while, and then, seeming to be satisfied that he was dead, walked away. The man in the tree climbed down. "It looked just as if that bear whispered in your ear," he said. "What did he tell you?" "He said," answered the other, "that it was not at all wise to keep company with a fellow who would desert his friend in a moment of danger." Moral: misfortune is the test of true friendship.
A man's favorite donkey falls into a deep precipice. He can't pull it out no matter how hard he tries. He therefore decides to bury it alive. Soil is poured onto the donkey from above. The donkey feels the load, shakes it off, and steps on it. More soil is poured. It shakes it off, and steps up. The more the load was poured, the higher it rose. By noon, the donkey was grazing in green pastures. So what we learn today is that, after much shaking off of problems, and stepping up, learning from them, one will graze in green pastures.
There was a young boy who could not control his anger. He would say whatever came to his mind, even if it hurts people. His father asked him to hammer in a nail in the backyard fence whenever he got angry. In the beginning, he used up a lot of nails, but as time went by, he started using less. The father then asked him to start removing a nail each day. He didn't get angry. When he removed all the nails, the father asked him to see the holes in the fence. He reminded him that the fence would never be the same. Likewise, the things he had said to people could never be erased. So what we learn today is that anger leaves scars on people.
Once there was a shepherd boy who was grazing his sheep near a village. He thought of a joke. He shouted at the top of his voice, "Wolf, wolf!" When the villagers heard his voice, they came at once with their sticks. By reaching there, they found that the boy has made fool of them. People became very angry. After few days, the boy repeated the joke. The villagers cursed him and went away. One day a wolf actually came. He shouted for help, but no one came. The wolf killed him and his sheep. So what we learn today is that no one believes a liar.
There was a dog. He was very hungry. Dog stole a piece of meat from butcher's shop and ran away in search of a peaceful place to eat it. In a way, he reached a stream. Dog saw its own reflection in the water. It thought it another dog having a piece of meat. It wanted to get that piece too. It opened its mouth to get it. Its own piece fell into the stream. In greed of getting another piece, it lost its own piece of meat. So what we learn today is that greed is a curse.